I am Colonel Retired Harriet Lewis Staten. I served in the military for 24 years. My first duty station was Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where I served as a platoon leader. I later went to Germany, where I served as a headquarters and headquarters commander. From Germany, I came to Fort Gillem, which was in Forest Park, where I served in the capacity as an active component advisor to a reserve component unit. I, after that tour, after that time, I switched over from the regular Army to the Active Guard Reserve and was selected to teach Reserve Officer Training Corps at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. From there, I came back to Atlanta to Fort McPherson, where I served as a training officer. Although I'm a logistics officer, I served as a training officer. From there, I was selected to be the executive officer to the Deputy Commanding General of the Army Reserve Command. That's where I culminated or retired as a colonel. What it means to be a veteran to me is to not only have served my country, but to also have served my family. And when I say serve my family, it afforded me the opportunity to be able to basically take care of my family and provide support for my family that I might not otherwise have been able to do. Absolutely, I would do it all over again. One of the things of having served in the military was establishing relationships, lifelong relationships with people and making friends. I'm in an organization called the National Association of Black Military Women, which seeks to capture the history and accomplishments of African American women in the military. From those relationships, I've, like I said, gained friendships that are lifelong. Also, having taught ROTC, I was able to impact the lives of a lot of young people by encouraging them and training them to become military officers, which is important because the military is one of, if not the only, profession that allows individuals to serve, and after doing 20 years, at least that's how it was in my time, might be longer now, to actually have a pension for the rest of your life where you earn 50% of your retirement pay, and that's paid to you for the rest of your life. We have great medical benefits, just a plethora of things that the military offers that a lot of the civilian sector doesn't offer. Also, the fact that the majority of people who haven't served in the military, what they see on TV is just the combat side of the military. Whereas if you serve in the military, you actually get to see that it's much more than that. It's physical training, it's mental training. You get to become expert in your field. Basically, your life is a day-to-day operation where you pretty much go to work in the morning, and most nights, I say again, most nights you're back at home with your family by dinner time. So it's a whole lot more than what the media projects it to be. So from that standpoint, and being able to provide the opportunities for my family, yes, absolutely, I would do it again. I was encouraged by a boyfriend who later became my husband to join ROTC. I was a student at Albany State University in Albany, Georgia, where I was a criminal justice major. The moment that I got into the Army and found that I could do it was after I completed advanced camp. Advanced camp is a 6-week training. For enlisted people, it's called basic training. For officers, it's called advanced camp. And I think it's basically the same thing, where you actually are tested, you're trained, and then you're tested to see how tough you are or how tough you can be should the situation require that. So once I was able to complete that, I felt confident that I could do it. I would advise a young person today not to count the military out. As we know, there's wars going on right now, and there always will be. Bible talks about that, wars and rumors of wars. But having served 24 years myself and never actually having gone to combat, although I supported during Desert Shield and Desert Storm, I supported the deployment of 7 or 8 units going to combat. I would tell them that that is the exception, not not the rule. Although I would also let them know that definitely that is a possibility. So look at the entire picture and know that, you could go to combat. You might not go to combat, but you would definitely be trained in the job that you have to be a professional. So that's an opportunity to be a professional and to have a career, not just a job. That was one of my best assignments, actually. The way it's done is you're just basically selected. It's like anything. The military, one of my NCOs said one time, the military teaches you what they're going to teach you. They teach you, then they test you on what you've been taught. So as a professor of military science, I was selected. That's what's called a nominative assignment. It's like the cream of the crop get those assignments. So yeah, I consider myself the cream of the crop. And you're selected, your duty assignment is at a college. The Army decides where you're gonna go, what school you're gonna go to. You go there and you have cadets, MS1 who are freshmen through MS4 who are seniors. And you teach them basic military skills. You teach them the curriculum that's established by the Army that fits into the school curriculum. So you also prepare them for the advanced camp that I talked about. You go to the advanced camp with them. My initial advanced camp was at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which was back where I started as a cadet myself. And then the last one was at Fort Lewis, Washington, where we serve as cadre, and we're basically training and evaluating those cadets to see if they can become good Army officers or great Army officers. So that's how that works. And it's normally a 3-year assignment. So you have, I was what's called an assistant professor of military science. There's at the time I was a major. There's a lieutenant colonel or colonel, or lieutenant colonel, depending on the school, who is the actual professor of military science. And the assistant professors of military science, majors, captains, at least a captain or major, work for that professor of military science. I would say the biggest thing that I got out of the Army was I can do anything I want to do. One of the sayings in the Army was that it doesn't rain on the Army. Is it rain on the Army or rain in the Army? And when I went in, I had no idea what that meant, because as a cadet sitting at training and it's pouring down rain and I'm eating my food and the water's pouring into my food, I'm like, what are they talking about? It doesn't rain. Of course it does. But basically, the slogan, be all you can be, it's a great training opportunity. There's just nothing, I don't think there's anything that I can't do. If I set my mind to it, I'm going to do it and be successful at it. So I would say I gained that from the Army. OMG. Absolutely. First of all, I'm a double minority. Okay, what that means is I'm a black female. First of all, I'm black. Secondly, I'm a black female. Less than, I think, 1% of us make or excel past the rank of major, and that's because, just like society, racism still exists in the military. But, either you're going to deal with it in society or you're going to deal with it in the military. But one of the challenges is proving that you are just as good or better than your counterparts, whether they be Caucasian or whatever. So when you talk about challenges, I would say yes, that would be the challenge. I have done everything. I haven't missed anything. My life now, our military has afforded me the opportunity to retire. I don't have to work if I don't want to work. I can travel. I live a good life. So I haven't missed anything. So I would tell my family to remember that. And they know that because I'm constantly on the go. I'm constantly doing whatever it is that I want to do. So I would tell them that. Typically in the military, you're going to go to an assignment and you're going to be there from 1 to 3 years. And one of the sayings in the military is if you don't like it, either you're going to move or they're going to move. So it's not like in the civilian sector where you get on a job, you work on that job, doing the same thing every day, for the rest of your life. You're going to go to a duty station, you're going to stay there usually not more than 3 years. Then you're going to go someplace else, so you get a chance to meet more people, see different cultures, experience different cultures. And like I said, when you're working, it's a regular job. So you get a chance, you get 30 days. I forgot to talk about that. 30 days paid vacation a year. So when I was in the military, one of my duty stations was Germany. When I was in Germany, I traveled to a little country called Liechtenstein. I did Spain, England, Holland. So got a chance to see and do a whole lot that your typical American who just serves, and I don't want to say just serves, but who works a job in the United States doesn't get to do or see.
So you got to experience many different cultures.
Many different cultures. And my children actually remember that as well. And my daughter, who's a lawyer, talks about that having an impact on her life. She's the vice president of a company now, and she is typically the only black female, or one of the few black females in their organization. And she talks about having lived in Germany and how she feels that played a part in her ability to be able to deal with different cultures and different diverse situations. Oh, okay. The first hardest situation for me was having to give up my daughter. When I was a cadet in ROTC, I wasn't married. I had a child out of wedlock. And the military did not allow single parents or single parent females to join the military. What we had to do was when we say give up, somebody had to adopt the child. So for me, it was a very difficult decision to give up my daughter. I had a daughter when I was a freshman in college. So I was pregnant when I went to college. I had my daughter. I sat out for a semester, and then I went back to school and finished, and then joined ROTC. Learned later on, if they had told me that probably the first day, I probably would not have done it. But as I progressed into the course and decided, okay, I'm gonna try the military, found out that I had to give up custody of my daughter. So I allowed my mother to adopt my daughter. And then once I went to my training and was actually in the military, I was able to gain custody back. But that was a very difficult decision. I would say that was the only challenge. And other challenges were just the physical aspects of it, being a woman, the training, having to carry the rucksack, but it taught me, like I said, that I can do anything. I wasn't one of those who expected a man to carry my rucksack or do whatever. I carried my own weight, and I still do.